Kia ora koutou katoa. It's officially winter here on the farm. The days are feeling shorter. There have been plenty of frosts. We've had some really high winds and everything's really just slowing down. I'm a bit poor on time again as we've welcomed a new member to our family, but I really wanted to make a video of this point in time in this season just to document what's going on. The colder weather and shorter sunlight hours have really slowed down the growth of the pasture now, and the cattle and sheep are really starting to feel it. One of the cattle, Black, every time I walk outside I get harassed by him mooing at me to feed him or magically make spring appear. So it's meaning at the moment I'm having to really be regimented with my break fencing to manage the pasture, and it's also that stage now where I'm feeding out baleage to them as well. The baleage is from the 2023-2024 summer season, so it's a little on the old side now, but I think it should be all good for them to still consume. We borrowed a ram in late April, May to put over the ewes, and hopefully he's done his job. If he has, we should be expecting lambs late October, early November, which is late for lambing, but hopefully it means I'm not delivering lambs in freezing cold weather. I have given the ewes a shot of iodine before I put the ram over them, and this is because some of my lambs have had an enlarged thyroid, which indicates iodine deficiency. So my hope is that this year I can remedy that by giving them the iodine boost just before they get in lamb, and then in a few weeks I'm going to give them another iodine shot. They also have access to a mineral block that has iodine in it too, so hopefully this is enough to remedy that situation. I've gradually been slaughtering the roosters over the autumn and now winter. Look, it's not realistic to keep a whole heap of roosters. It'll cause a lot of stress in the flock, and I am raising our birds for meat also. I don't know why we don't eat roosters more as a society, because to me, if it's slow cooked, it tastes just as good as chicken, and if not, it's more flavorful than the stuff you'd buy from the supermarket as well. I had my sister-in-law help me slaughter one of the roosters about a month or so ago, as she'd never done that experience before because she's been really interested in it, and she found that process quite confronting, which it is, but I think she appreciated just being connected to that animal takai process. She's really big on food ethics and animal welfare, and I know later she did enjoy a delicious meal from that rooster, which I'm sure she appreciated. Nothing's been planted in the vegetable garden at this time of year, but the hard work I did in the summer has really paid off. We're getting a steady supply of brassicas ready at the moment, and they're doing super well this year, which I'm really stoked about. Brassicas are heavy feeders, so I put a lot of manure into the soil. Thanks cows, it's great having them here this year. And they also like a slightly more alkaline soil too, apparently. So I found some old lime that I've had sitting around in the shed for years and added that to the soil, and I'll occasionally add some wood ash as well to get the soil a bit more alkaline for them, and also to get all those good little minerals that come with that. I've managed to get them in early enough too, so they've been able to tolerate a bit of slug and snail damage, which I normally battle with every year, whereas touch wood, it hasn't been too bad so far. We've mostly gotten through most of the potatoes from the summer, and I've stored my seed potatoes ready for probably September to go in. But we've got lots of pumpkins in storage, and it's been an absolute bumper crop of yams this year. I've planted way too many yams, and normally when I've done yams in the past, the yams that I grow are quite small compared to say the ones you'd buy commercially, but I'm finding that their sizing's a lot better this time round, which I'm really stoked with. So really got to find ideas to use up yams at the moment. Even though things are really slowing down at this time of year growth wise, nature still loves to provide. So there are heaps of edible weeds popping up at the moment this time of year. Over the past 5 years, I've loved learning how to forage and foraging wild plants. Historically, as humans, we've used wild plants for a long time, both medicinally and for food as well. And it's sort of been lost a lot in our consumption in the modern age, which potentially has consequences for our health. Weeds are superfoods, they're packed full of nutrition, and I think they're really good in a human diet. When foraging for wild plants, of course, make sure you do your research and be really confident on the ID. Like, get all your info from the internet, but in the best case scenario, you'd have someone knowledgeable show you as well. For example, chickweed, something that's highly nutritious and I use as a lettuce replacement. It often features in our winter burgers. That can be confused with a poisonous plant called scarlet pimpernel. The chickweed has white flowers and the scarlet pimpernel has red flowers, and although they grow in different types of environments, both are found here on the property. So it's really important to get your ID right. So it really pays to know what you're looking for, and I've found with practice I am finding it a lot easier to identify the plants that I eat regularly. Also, when foraging something new, a good tip is to just eat a little bit and wait a few hours and just see how you feel and react, because even if the plant is edible, different people respond and react to different things, so that's just a safer way to test it out. There are heaps of edible wild plants growing through the veggie garden and the food forest at the moment, like the chickweed and a lot of the wild weeds I'm just using as a cover crop for the winter, because they're drawing up nutrition from the soil, and then when they die down they can be used to fertilize the garden over the summer period. Some of the weeds I'm using at the moment in, say, like stews or stir fries or teas are things like mallow, dandelion, yarrow, calendula, puha and stinging nettle. So there are heaps of wild plants you can eat. It's just been really cool to learn them, and people are probably sick of it, but I love feeding people stinging nettle and then telling them they're eating stinging nettle or drinking it as a tea. I think the surprise is starting to wear off on my friends and family now, but it's still just really cool to know that there's such nutrition that just grows in my backyard. It's also been great letting my garden plants just go to seed, because at the moment I have things like silver beet, broad beans and bok choy that have just popped up in the garden by themselves, and that's taken no effort on my part to grow them. Then lastly, I have the chickens here, of course. They're actually all around me at the moment, and I've got come on boy, and I've got one here that I've just bought. I'll see if I can catch him. There he is. Yeah. So this is George, the newest rooster to Braidwood farm. And you might wonder, well, why have you bought a rooster when you're slaughtering them and eating them? The reason is this guy is not related to anyone here, so there's some good genetic diversity I'm hoping he will add to the flock. He's black as well, which is a colour I'm losing in the flock, and he's a cute wee guy, so I'm really happy to have him here at the moment. And then otherwise they have all taken a break from laying, and hopefully around August we'll start to get some eggs. But that probably sums up what's going on the wee farm this winter. It's a good time to just cozy up and rest, and then I'm looking forward to the busyness of spring to come. If you made it this far, thank you very much for watching. Ka kite anō.